This anime might just be my favorite shonen, and is without a doubt one of the best anime I've ever had the pleasure of watching. Though, as a shonen, Hunter x Hunter is a little bit lacking in fights. The fights that are there are phenomenal. Paragons of their kind. As a result of that, it was really difficult for me to make this list because there are a lot of fantastic fights to choose from in the series, but I can only pick 5. Now, hopefully all of you think I did a good job, but if you disagree, well, that's what the comment section is for. As in the Naruto fights video, I'm going to do my best to keep this to one fight per character involved, though there may be exceptions in the cases of fights involving large groups of people. Anyhow, without further ado, let's jump right into the list. Jesus Christ, man. Madhouse kicked things up to 11 for this fight. Easily one of the best animated fights in the entire series, at least up to this point, anyway. The setup for this fight is brilliant, too. Like, everything that's led up to this fight happening at all in the first place really sets the stage for this being a serious, intense confrontation, unlike anything the audience has witnessed in the world of Hunter x Hunter yet. Uvogen's character had already been established pretty nicely as well, as the audience got to see how much of a juggernaut he was when he took out the shadow beasts and laughed off a blast from a rocket launcher. To see Kurapika absolutely thrash him was a fantastic way to establish how powerful Nenvaus could be. It did an even better job establishing that Kurapika's beef with the Phantom Troop might actually be a pretty serious thing. It did annoy me a bit how Gary Stewish Kurapika came off near the end of the fight when he was like, "Oh yeah, well, when my eyes turned scarlet, I have the superpower, I have all powers." But other than that, this fight was fantastic. Fantastic animation, great interactions between the characters, and an excellent build-up. Now, there are a whole lot of people that might want to crucify me for not putting this fight at number 1, and while I can totally see why many people think Meruem vs. Nero is the best fight in the series, I disagree. I'm not going to focus on why this fight isn't number 1, because that defeats the purpose. This video is meant to praise these fights, but yeah, just so you know, it's not my favorite. Anyhow, Meruem vs. Nero is still a fantastic fight. I love both characters to death, though I love Meruem quite a bit more than Nero, and they both had pretty clear goals and philosophies, so this was more than just a flashy confrontation. There was a whole lot of emotional weight and depth to this fight. It was also built up pretty well, and for the entirety of the Chimera Ant arc, I was just waiting for it to happen. The abilities on display here are absolutely ridiculous, definitely fitting of the Chimera Ant King and the chairman of the Hunter Association, but I was a little confused about why Netero had a nuke installed in his body. Like, I get that it's a last resort, but like, if you can just do that, what's the point of Nen? You know what I mean? Oh well, though. This fight was fantastic, and it really showed off the talent that the people at Madhouse have for directing and animating. So putting a game of Dodgeball on a top 5 fights list is probably cheating, but I don't care. This is a really great game of Dodgeball, and considering all of the characters involved can just die at any given point, I think it's safe to say that, yeah, this kinda counts as a fight, by some stretch of the imagination anyway. Anyhow, this is one of the best parts of the entire Greed Island arc. A lot of what had come before this was pretty slow, and while I don't really have a problem with that, since build-up is necessary for a satisfying payoff, it was really nice to see Gon and Killua finally apply their new abilities against somebody who was actually threatening. Hisoka was also involved in this, so that's a plus. This is without a doubt one of the most intense fights in the series, and certainly kept me surprised the entire way through. Razor's a total juggernaut, dude. Like, he seems completely unstoppable, so I had no idea how Gon, Killua, Hisoka, and everybody else were gonna take him down in a game of Dodgeball. The way the game ends is satisfying, too. It doesn't feel like a cop-out. It's a super epic and creative use of Gon's Jajan Ken ability, and one of the first times the audience really sees what it's capable of. Just all in all, this fight is a total treat to watch. Jesus Christ, God, calm down. Hands down, best fight in the series, and one of the best fights in all of Shonen. The only negative thing I can say about this fight is that it probably won't get animated for like 200 more years, so I'm stuck reading it until then. But it's not that bad when you've got a fight this great. It doesn't hurt that this is between 2 of my favorite characters, because Hisoka and Chrollo are both godly. Then you add in the factor of the immense buildup that this fight received, on top of the little cock tease that the audience got in the York New City arc, and I mean, just the fact that the fight was happening on its own was really exciting to me. The fight itself, though, it's something else, man. Like, it begins with Chrollo killing the Heaven's Arena referee, and then using him to attack Hisoka. I don't think there's a single fight in all of manga or anime that's continued to subvert my expectations so successfully and keep me guessing about what's about to happen. The various ways Hisoka applies his pretty limited ability throughout the fight are really cool, but Chrollo definitely steals the show here. I mean, words don't do it justice. I mean, it ends with Chrollo taking control of a bunch of the people in the stand and ordering them to suicide bomb Hisoka. Like,